All right, Brandon, I appreciate you joining me here. If you want to introduce yourself, how big your fleet is, and then maybe start going into how you got started.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, man, I want to thank you, Max, for jumping to me and talk about what's going on with my inventory. I just want to say thank you, man, for inviting me and having me on. I'm excited, actually. I've been following you now for the last probably month and a half. So I noticed you have a lot of guests jump on and talk about their fleet and what's going on in their world. So I'm just excited to be part of that conversation, man. But for
Yeah,
everybody out there, my name is Brandon Jones. I'm located in Atlanta, Georgia. Been doing Turo full time now for about five and a half years. I got about 19 cars in my fleet currently. So yeah, I'm one of those crazy people that enjoy renting out their cars to people to destroy and beat them up and make a little bit of money.
very nice. So 5 years ago, what'd you start with?
Yeah. So overall, so this is kind of my backstory. Just kind of give you a little bit more backdrop. So I'm kind of a OG in the game, a little older. I'm 43, man. So I've been actually doing this now for about maybe 12 years. I started out actually doing Airbnb when I first moved from Ohio to Atlanta back in 2010. So my first property was downtown Atlanta, and I started Airbnb that out. And I thought came with a great idea to actually add a car to the Airbnb back then. And I actually had a car on Airbnb. People were renting out, even though it wasn't done the correct way as far as procedures and the processes. That's kind of how I got started into actually renting out cars on the side. Didn't have any rental agreements. It was all done through Airbnb, and they found out about it and shut down that listing. So come
They shut
about,
it down?
yeah, they shut down that listing for the car. It was a 2007 Range Rover, and they shut it down. They said you can't rent out cars, only can rent out like houses and apartments on Airbnb, man. So that's how I kind of got started learning more about the rental cars. And then in 2016, before Turo, it was Relay Rides. Then they became Turo. So I started trying to understand more about that, how that process and how it works. And then eventually I had a 2005 Corvette that I rented out on Relay Rides back in 2016. I didn't know much about it, man. So I probably got maybe like three or four rentals for that year. And then I stopped doing it. And then fast forward 2018, Turo became Turo. So I started out with, what did I have in my first true car? I got a 2018 Dodge Challenger V6 was my first car I put on. And then I got a Porsche Panamera and a 2014 Chevy Corvette. So I kind of came into the game small. I didn't want to do anything too big. So I had a 9.5 in corporate America, man, at IT. So that's kind of how I got the funding to start off with, getting cars on Turo and getting cars on my personal credit and all that good stuff. So I started out with just 3 cars, and then I got up to 5 cars that year. And then eventually, man, start scaling up year by year. By 2019, I got up to about 15 cars.
Wow, nice. You've been on the long grind.
A long grind, man. The OG, man. So they call me. So yeah.
That's cool. So are all the cars in your personal credit? Are they all loans?
Oh man. So the story behind the financing the vehicle. So when I started out in 18 and 19, yeah, all the cars were in my personal credit. Let me decline this call, man. Sorry about that.
Very good.
All the cars were in my personal credit in 18 and 19. And then I'm in real estate too. So I own a couple of investment properties. So it's kind of hard to have personal DTI when your debt to income is pretty crazy because all these cars are on your credit. So I couldn't buy any properties anymore, man. So I had to figure out how to get cars out of my personal name into my business names. So I started slowly getting cars out of my personal name and started dealing with big dealerships and taking on business loans and getting cars in my business name. So in 18, I actually started my LLC, got all the EIN stuff, of course, and the bank accounts, and became official in 2018. But by 2019, 20 is when I started putting cars in my business name.
Okay. So very nice. So how much do you have in loans right now for all the vehicles?
So I don't know if you checked out my website or my Turo fleet, but I'm more in the mid areas. I don't do that many. I don't enjoy any economy cars. I know that's kind of your specialty as far as out there in Phoenix is the economy cars, right? Certain price point like 10, 15, 20 G's.
A little bit. That's kind of where we started right now. We're in between like 16 and 30,000. Really
Okay,
like
so
heavy
are you,
mileage. Yeah, but really economy, nothing. You're on the higher end for sure.
yeah. Well, not really, man. So I got a couple YouTube videos out there. I know this is a shameless plug, but it's called lipstick. So what I specialize in, and here in Atlanta, we have a lot of people interested in some of the SUVs and luxury cars. So what I do, I have a certain price point. Like for example, I just bought like a 2014 Maserati Gimbly for about 20 G's, man. It was actually from the Maserati dealership here in Atlanta. So it's actually like 19,000, but with taxes and all the other stuff came to about 2021, and I put down $2,000. So I specialize in lipstick cars. So only car I got that's pretty crazy as far as the price is a 2023 Corvette C8. I bought that one brand new because the market for Corvettes is ridiculous as far as the price. So I paid about 80,000 for that. Every other car in my fleet is under 35,000. So I don't have a lot of crazy overhead when it comes to the cars. Most of the cars that I do, I can get out of them pretty easy or break even when I get rid of them. So total right now with my 19 cars is probably about 400,000, 450 total.
Okay, that's not bad. That's a lot less than I thought it was for sure.
No, I'm not. I haven't touched the millions yet, man. And I don't want to go that far in debt, man. So I have a kind of a game plan and a strategy when I want to buy these cars and how to get rid of them. If I can't get rid of the car, in a matter of a couple of days, and I don't touch it.
Yeah. So what's your exit strategy? Are you holding them for a certain year or a certain mile? Like, what's your game plan for that?
Really, the exit. So over the last, so we're in 23 now. Over the last 4 or 5 years, I held on to a good amount of cars that I started out with back in 18, 19. So I held on to those for about 2 and 3 years. So most of my loans that I did was for about 3 years. So they paid for themselves. And so like for example, like one of the Porsche Panameras, I paid like 35,000 for it back in 2018, and I had a 3-year loan for that one, and it paid for itself. Now with the luxury cars, they depreciate a lot faster compared to the economy cars and like a Corvette, so that's going to hold a little bit longer. So most of my cars are 3 to 4 year loans, pay for themselves. So my exit strategy, when they become hoopties or too beat up, I'll go ahead and just sell them. Either I sell them like on eBay or Auto Trader, or I'll drop them off at CarMax and get that cash and put it towards something else.
Interesting. So what have you found? Because depreciation is always a tough one when
it is
something that you're fighting with. I mean, is it interesting? What's the biggest depreciation that you've seen so far in your fleet?
So, and also remember too, Max, like a couple years, well, not even a couple years ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, the used car market was crazy, man. So the value of cars were through the roof. So let me give you an example. So for me, and I know we're gonna probably jump into this down the line, but for me, now all my cars are my business name. Like 95% of them are my business name now. So for me, like I had a 19 Dodge Durango that I bought in 2020, bought it used actually. No, 2019, before the pandemic hit. I had paid about 35,000 for this Durango, mint condition, had about 30,000 miles on it, and I sold it last year in 22 for 36,000. So I actually made $1,000 on a Durango that had about 50,000 miles on it. So I made money off that vehicle. I had bought a Camaro, same thing. I paid about 25,000 for a Camaro before the pandemic, sold it last year and broke even. So I mean, so all these cars, the cars that I bought the last probably 3 years or so, I pretty much broke even or made some money off of them. Because when you take in the car payment and the rental income, and I put a lot more towards it. So like for example, the Challenger's car payment on one of my Challengers is $500, and let's say it does $1,000 for a month, I'll put an extra $500 on it to get it paid down. So when the car either loses value through like an accident or people are beating it up and curb rashing the rims or dents, and I don't want it anymore, I just drop it off at Carvana or CarMax, and they'll give me decent amount of money.
Yeah. What about interest rate? What's your interest rate right now? And I'm sure it varies, but what's like your average interest rate for all the loans?
Yeah, for a business side, of course, business is a little bit more higher than regular retail. About 10 to 12%, depends on the vehicle.
10-12%.
Yeah. And again, most of my loans are between $20,000 and $30,000. So we're talking maybe $40, $50, $100 difference between the old way versus the new interest rate. It's not like a huge difference when I can make that up in a rental or a booking.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you ever had any instances where you've been under in certain months with your car payment and interest versus what you make on it?
Yeah, in the winter time it does get a little bit slow around here. So some months I just break even. So yeah, that does happen for some of the vehicles. Like for example, right now with the C8, that's my most expensive car I got in car payment. And just to be transparent, because I like to be transparent on my YouTube channel too. The car payment on the C8 is $1,500 a month. So that's a pretty steep car payment because I got 5 years on that one, 5.5 years actually. So that's a pretty steep car payment at like 11% interest. So right now, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get bookings on that vehicle. So it may be months where I might take a loss and I got to pull that money from another vehicle that I might have made a gain on. So it just depends on the vehicle.
Yeah. Interesting. So what are you typically seeing with all your cars, all 19 cars in a month? What are you usually making?
Revenue. So last year I had a full-time corporate job, man. So I was doing this in my 9 to 5 and doing the Turo stuff in the evening on the weekend. So this year my goal is we're in July now. So the last 2 months I've been ramping it up, buying more cars. So I'm just doing Turo and Airbnb stuff full time now. I'm not doing any corporate stuff right now. So now I got more time to devote to the fleet and customer service and all that. So what we're in July. So in May I had about 11 cars. So over the last month and a half, 2 months, I bought 7, 8 cars, man, trying to get more closer to that 20 number.
Holy crap. So what did you do last month in gross revenue?
So last month was June. We did about 20,000 last month.
Okay, that's sounds about right.
Yeah, so I mean, I got to tell people on my channel, man, realistically with Turo and rental cars, you're going to get anywhere between 800 to 1,200 a car. It depends on what the make and model, of course, but that's usually the average is about $800 to $1,200. So if you've got a certain car that's popular, you may get more. You could probably tell me more about the economy cars. So you guys probably do a lot more of the last minute day-to-day stuff. With the luxury, mid-luxury cars, those are mostly for the weekend, for the Thursday to Sunday crowd, so you don't get as much utilization. So those cars go out maybe 10 to 15 days a month. You know what I mean? So I say about $1,000 a car is where you're going to be at on Turo. So go ahead.
That's a good average. I think that's a really good average. It's $1,000. It's about similar for us. Is 800's like summer for us. Summer sucks, really slow, and then like March is our busiest month, and our average for that was like $1,750 per car.
Oh, so wow.
Pretty good month.
Yeah, you guys killed it for that month. So yes. Crazy. So my goal, man, so this is why I want to talk to you too, is to start getting into private rentals. So now I've been, doing more research, and that's how I came across your channel. My guy, Tony Luxury Cars in Louisville, he recommended your channel. So I said, let me check out what you guys are talking about. So now I'm starting to learn more about the private rental side and doing commercial insurance. So I really want to amp up, the revenue. So my goal is to maybe do 20 to 25 cars total and get to the point where I'm doing between 40 and 50 grand in revenue. That's my sweet spot. You know what I mean? Because I want to be able to charge $400 or $500 a night for the Corvette. I got a couple, like a Mercedes. I got the Maserati I talked about. Yeah. I got the Tahoe, the Suburban. So I want to be able to charge $200-$300 a night on the private side and make up for where I lost out on Turo. Turo's cool, man. Don't get me wrong. I love Turo. They're a great starter. But you know the gaps and the issues, that come along with Turo, man. So sometimes you gotta take that risk and put yourself out there and start doing the private rentals. So that's where I'm at with it right now.
Yeah, and private, it's crazy because you don't need very much private. I'll just give you like quick numbers for this month. I mean, it's only the 17th, so we're about halfway through the month.
Yep.
We've only done. I mean, we have 14 cars. We've shed down heavy. We've been selling cars. We're at like $5,000 on Turo, but private we're at like 11 grand. And that's not even, we're not even like fully booked. It's still pretty slow right now.
Right.
So,
dang, congrats, man. That's awesome.
No, it's crazy. I mean, private is like a huge market. And in March was our first month. And I don't know if you've seen any of those videos, but like we did we did 35 grand. It was like 17.5 grand on Turo and then 17.5 on private. And like, we didn't know how to do marketing. We didn't know how to do anything. We're just like pushing buttons. We didn't have any of our system. Is all like written contracts. So it's like, it's there. If you can figure out the right cars, the right market, your system, it's game over for sure.
Yeah, man. So I know this is about me somewhat, but I want to pick your brain about the private stuff, man. So I know you guys are using HQ rentals too, right? For your software. How's that working out for you?
I love it.
You love it?
It's kind of like, it's just like using Turo, except on the private side. You have, it's all the same, except you have the control. So when you're like charging the guests, you get to keep their deposit. It's like the contracts and stuff are on there. It's crazy. Like what you have to do is little to nothing. You check their insurance, make sure they're good on insurance.
Yep.
I guess you can do a background check. We're still trying to figure that out. We don't have that yet.
Right.
And then other than that, you meet the guests, take a picture of the car, and then their ID, and then they're gone.
They're gone.
It's like a little harder, a little more than Turo, but of course you're just doing what the other company like Turo's doing.
Right. So when the client signs a rental agreement, do this HQ automatically email it to them or send them a text message to sign it?
Yeah. So right away they'll get an email with it. So they sign. I send them a signature form that they sign, and in there it has a rental agreement. So it has, which is standard. Like your insurance, depending on your insurance company, they'll have one for you.
Yep.
We modified ours to add, have to add like a conversion notice thing, which means like if somebody rents it and they don't return it after X amount of period, you have to convert it to a theft, or else one, you can't, like the police won't do anything, and then depending on insurance, you can't report it stolen if it's not reported a stolen car.
Yep.
And then we added like no out of country. We added just little things like that. That we wanted to make sure that we're covered.
Yeah.
Everything's pretty standard.
So when you mentioned too, you got to verify like their personal insurance. So like, is there like a number you call for each insurance company like to verify that, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we always have them send us their insurance, and on the insurance card it has like, I mean, it's just the 1-800 number, the 888 number. So we just call that number. We just say, hey, we're with Heart Rentals. We're calling to confirm one of your customers' policy numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Just read it to me, and then we read to them, and then we just verify that that insurance is active and that there's no problems with it. Because if there's a problem, like if they're not paying, it could shut off at any point. And we've had that. Like we had somebody show us their insurance, and it was good, and then it like wasn't because they stopped paying like mid-rent. So you got to make sure that they're making payments, and then you have to know. Like you usually when you talk to the customer, you know whether they have liability or full coverage because you ask them. Yeah. And then you also ask the insurance, okay, just make sure they have full coverage or they have liability, so then you know which one they have. Because if they just have liability, you have to either sell them full coverage or they have to get it their own. Because for us, we don't want any cars leaving without full coverage. Yeah.
So that's what I'm going through now with HQ is supplemental insurance and all that good stuff and selling them insurance. So
Hugh, I don't know. I got on a call with them. For what you can make, like I think for liability, it's cool that you can sell liability and full coverage. We're not ready to sell just liability because you really have to do background checks, because like you don't know who these people are, and if you don't do due diligence, they could be doing anything. Right. And if you have insurance, typically like you're a decent person and you're not going to be just like destroying things. So, but the reason that we have a separate company is because we can make margins on it. So we're buying it right now for $18 a day and we sell it for $25.
And that's full coverage?
Yeah, for full coverage. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but if somebody is renting a car for like a month, I mean, that's like,
that's a quick,
month. I mean, it's a lot of money.
Yeah. So it's not bad margin wise.
No, it's not bad at all. So, and I know that HQ, I mean, you make like $1.50 for liability and like $3 full coverage. It's something, I mean, it's very minimal. So you can do that, but I mean, there's ways to make more money. All these little ways you should be trying to maximize profit.
Yeah, man, I'll pick your brain offline about that, man. We can talk all day about that part, but yeah, that's helpful. So for just real quick though, for my commercial, I'm gonna run with Lula. I don't know what you guys are using for your commercial, but I'm gonna use Lula. You got any recommendations?
No, we use GMI. There's not big of a difference. The only difference that I know of is GMI has a umbrella, like $1 million policy, but Lula has the ability, and I got to talk to GMI. I don't know if they do or not, but Lula has the ability to do background checks. Yep. They have the service to do that, which is nice. Like we need that. And I got to talk to GMI. So other than that, there's not a huge difference. I know that depending on how many cars, you should have a bigger price break than GMI. What are you paying a month per car?
So right now I'm about $100.
Okay, we're paying $105, and that's what we're quoted at Lula. If we switched, it's like 99 or something.
Yeah, Lula wants $129 for each car that I have to go private, and then they have, I don't know if you're familiar with the Lula. They have like the Turo rental insurance also for people out there for $79 a car. So when the car's just sitting, you can just pay $79 a month to have the car covered while it's sitting, and then they'll jump back on Turo's insurance once it hits the booking.
Huh. That's weird. So that's expecting that it's just for a full month.
That's for the full month. You get 300. You can use the car up to 300 miles for business use, like for oil changes, get it serviced. But when it's sitting, just $79 a month for coverage for that vehicle.
Well, you probably don't want that. I don't want a vehicle to sit for a month.
Well, I mean, yeah, true, but you got to have insurance here, especially here in Georgia. It's required. So at least it's in the database showing that Lula's your insurance company. But yeah, I mean, of course you want to rent it out and have Turo take care of everything. But it's just an option. People interested who have cars sitting for a couple of days, they can use Lula for that part of it too.
Yeah. So tell me about. So how do you operate 19 cars? Is it by yourself, or do you have people?
Nah, man. So like I said, I'm the old man. So I have a 22-year-old son that helps me out actually. So he's down here in Atlanta too. So he helps me with transporting and also service to the dealerships, my mechanic, and getting them washed. So for us, I have an office probably about 25-30 minutes from my house where a lot of my cars are parked at in that area, and also by the area I rent out a lot for us to park vehicles or whatnot. So he'll transport them from different locations. We only offer my office and then the airport and the hotel downtown as far as locations, man. So we don't do like at-home drop-offs or personal drop-offs. Just from safety precaution. And all my vehicles are, like you mentioned, we do unlock from my phone. So every car I have has the capability to be unlocked and tracked on my phone. So we do touchless check-ins.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you do, what's it called?
The touchless check-ins, or Turo Go.
Oh, Turo Go. Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's the official name of it, but.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you park all your cars. Is it like outdoor parking at the office, or is it?
Yeah, it's like a garage, but we have outdoor parking too.
Okay, that's nice. So just you and your son.
Yep.
How far is the airport from your office?
About 30. Well, it's Atlanta, man. So traffic, probably we'll say 25-30 minutes without traffic, maybe an hour with traffic. Okay. So as you know, in the Turo world, this is another reason why I want to get into private, to be more organized when it comes to times and pickups and all that. Because as you know, with Turo, you gotta die by the app. So everything for Turo is gonna be last minute. People need a car in an hour and a half. And it's like, all the time. It's like, bro, I live in Atlanta. It's hard for us to move cars that quick. So I know I can adjust my time to have like a 2-3 hour buffer. But the best trips you get are the ones that are going to be an hour, 2 hours, for start times, as you know firsthand. So, I try to be creative with the settings in the app to get more bookings. That's the way you get people to book your vehicle. They like the last minute stuff. So,
well, I will tell you, you're not going to escape that on private. People always call them
really?
This now because like they showed up to Hertz and Enterprise and they're like, yeah, like
out of cars.
Car for whatever reason, or we don't have a car, or we got rid of your car. I mean, always something, but we always get calls last minute like, we need something now. It's like, all right, so you still run into that same problem, which is you're making more money, but we always run into that.
So are you guys doing you got your own office with a lot and all that? How's your setup?
Yeah. I'll give you a quick little look.
Nice.
So this is my little office space.
Okay.
I have I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, I can see it.
There's a lot right there.
Oh, so you got a gate and everything. Nice.
Yeah, gate, security camera, 26 cars. So good sized lot. This is our little area.
Nice.
And we have 3 offices. We have my brother in one, and then we got one of our guys in another.
Awesome.
So it's just a little spot, but it's perfect for now. We'll probably
man, that's perfect. That's awesome. That gate comes in handy, man, for real, because
I know.
Here in Atlanta, man, crime is picking up, man. So when they find out your processes and how you do things, like crime and break-ins are huge around here.
Dude, the first night we came in, we had 10 cars initially come in, and like the gate was there, but there's a little opening in the gate, so somebody could just walk in, and we're like, probably fine. First night, the first night somebody comes in and drills in our gas tank in our 2021 Jeep Cherokee, we just bought it, and then the next night somebody comes again and drills in another one.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Back. So right after that, we drilled a board.
Yeah.
But
I guess crime is universal, right? No matter where you at. So
yeah, absolutely. And we should have known. I mean, I think not taking chances is very important.
Nah, agreed. So I mean, I know a lot of people probably watch your channel are probably interested in doing Turo, and probably hear a lot of the horror stories. And like me doing this for 5 years, man, I got a lot of horror stories too. So when you guys check out my channel, I got like a story time where I break down like cars being broken into, cars stolen, burnouts, everything, man. You a topic, I've probably been through it and can tell you about it from start to finish. So that's why I was looking at your fence, thinking about that. Like, yeah, that's smart having that fence, man.
Yeah, give me the worst. What's the worst thing that's happened to you?
Oh man, where do we start with the story times and the horror stories, man? So as you guys know, Dodge Challengers and Dodge Chargers are probably like the number one, biggest theft car when it comes to being stolen. People like the Hemis and the V8s and the Hellcats. I got a 2017 Dodge Charger Daytona, but it just has a 5.7 Hemi. It doesn't have the Hellcat engine or the Scat Pack.
Yeah.
But I had a gentleman rent that from. This happened maybe like a year and a half ago. A gentleman rented it from me. He was, and again, guys, this is speaking to your audience, Max. The 5 stars mean nothing when it comes to Turo. It does help you out, give you a little confidence, but 5-star, 4-star guests also have issues too. Gentleman was a 5-star guest, rented the Dodge Charger. He was a one-night rental, which I'm not a fan of one-night rentals, but it's part of the game, part of the business. Yeah. He rented the Charger one night, and then the next morning he called me and said, Brandon, your Charger's been stolen. The guy was, I guess he was in construction or whatever. He had a hotel with a guy that he was rooming with. So I guess his roommate stole the Dodge Charger. Yeah. So, and again, I'm in Atlanta, and I don't want to give all my secrets away, but I got multiple trackers in my vehicle. So at first, when it happens, when cars are getting stolen, I panic a little bit. But now doing this for 5 years, I really don't panic too much. I know I'll get the car back eventually. So the guy that stole the vehicle, he was a criminal. He was in all types of stuff. And long story short, the car ended up in Memphis, Tennessee, which is about 5-6 hours from Atlanta. And then he took the car to Cincinnati, Ohio, which is about 5 hours from Memphis. So yeah, long story short, I got the car back. But it was in 2 cities. It did a lot of burnouts, a lot of weed and drugs in the car, of course. But I worked with Turo. We were able to get the car back, and it got shipped here back to Atlanta, and I got it refurbished. Another quick story is on my 2017 Chevy Grand Sport. I just bought it. I got this car in November of 2019. Maybe 2 weeks after I bought it, one of my clients who rented from me previously, he was a good guy, young dude, but good guy. He rented the vehicle. And he did burnouts in it. And I'll send you the vehicle. I'll send you the link to it so you can check it out yourself. And the dude did burnouts on it, and he destroyed the back end of the vehicle. So he called me a couple hours later and said he was in a car accident and lied about it. It said somebody rear-ended him, but they didn't know. So this dude is so stupid. He posted a video of him doing burnouts on YouTube. So that's how I was able to catch him. Yeah,
how would you find that video?
So let me just get into that. So this happened maybe took like 2 or 3 weeks for me to get the car repaired, and Turo paid out for it. So I got it repaired back to normal, looks good, everything. So I was up one night, couldn't sleep, and maybe like a month later, I just typed in like Chevrolet Grand Sport, and lo and behold, the vehicle came up, and him and his boy, everybody wants to be YouTube famous and try to monetize and be seen on YouTube. So the name of the video was, "My boy just bought a brand new Grand Sport and already wrecked it." I said, this is interesting, right? So lo and behold, it was him driving the vehicle. And again, I'll show you the video. It was him driving it, and then he was in the parking lot doing the actual burnouts. And I said, wait a minute, man, that is my car. So it was like 3 or 4 minutes. He destroyed the rear tire, destroyed the back end. So after I finished watching the video, man, I called him, I texted him. I said, dude, that's so messed up. So I said, why did you destroy my car and lie about it, man? I said, I'm gonna take you to court. So I actually filed a lawsuit against this dude. He was so scared, man, so shook. But there's a story time on my YouTube channel, so I can send you that link too, man. But that's just a couple of stories that come to mind. But there's a lot more than that. But
you gotta send me that stuff. So you sued him? Did you win?
Yeah. So I sued him to scare, but he paid out additional damages though too. Because I said, man, you're gonna pay Turo back, and you're gonna pay me additional money too for what you did in my car. So he paid me my money actually for everything.
Wow.
I believe in doing right by people, man. Like I don't know. Like when it comes to cars and rentals, people just lose their mind, man. It's like at the end of the day, it's just a car. It's like, bro, you drive from A to B with the vehicle. How do you guys do all these weird things and come back with dent scratches and horror stories and your mama stole the car? It's just crazy.
Yeah, well, there's people that are renting the car for like regular purposes, and people rent the car to just do effed up stuff.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And also, when you have cars like that, you have to expect that. Like,
Yeah, true.
That's what people are going to do. Like, no one's going to rent your Cadillac Escalade and be doing burnouts.
No, true.
Never.
No, you're right. And for that's a good point because for the Escalade, man, like Turo has that it's a deluxe car. So you gotta be 25 and older to rent it or 30 and over to rent it. So that helps with like the Escalades and like the Mercedes, you gotta be 30 or 25 in the Corvette. But it's also a con because now the young boys can't rent it, and that's the main audience that want to rent those vehicles. So it's like a catch 22 when it comes to having older people drive those vehicles. They don't really want to rent them as frequently as the younger generation does.
Yeah. And you'll probably solve that a little bit when you're doing private.
Yeah.
But also, like the young people, nice cars, that's a tough mix.
It is.
Really tough mix. I mean, I don't know.
They love the muscle cars, though. They love the Camaros, the Challengers, the Chargers. They love them, man.
Yeah, I know they do. They love messing them up, too.
They do. Tires. All my videos, guys, you'll see is about tires and more tires.
Oh gosh. So do you have do you go to, I don't know what's over there, do you have like a discount tire or something like that?
So the good thing about Atlanta, man, we got all types of tire places. We got used tire spots. We got the big box stores like, Pep Boys and Firestone and those. But for the most part, man, I got about 10 tire guys that sell used tires, man, that hook me up. So I pay about $65, $75 for a good used tire.
Whoa, that's pretty cheap.
Yeah. So Atlanta's pretty good when it comes to being really resourceful and having vendors and people that I can reach out to hook me up with like tires, my brakes. Even my mechanic's pretty good and takes care of all my vehicles. So I don't have too many big issues when it comes to my vehicles from a service side. I got that handled pretty good.
Dang, that's good. I think that's important. Your connections are key.
It is.
Yes. So I know you said you want to get more cars.
Yep.
Go private. How are you going to do that to expand? Like what else are you trying to do?
Yeah. So right now, man, my game plan is I'm going to probably start off doing 10 on private and then just do the rest on Turo. I'm going to have all my cars on Turo, of course. You don't want to lose that audience or that clientele, of course. Yeah, you want to hybrid that out. So I'm going to start off with 10 on HQ and doing private. And then eventually, like my older cars or cars that are a little bit more beat up, I'm probably going to trade those in and probably get more SUVs. I'm looking to get away from the younger crowd. I'm not trying to hate the young guys, but I'm trying to get away from the younger crowd that tend to beat up the cars and focus more on families, people that want to use them for vacations or special occasions. But I'll keep like the Corvette and maybe a couple like 2-seaters. But for the most part, man, I want to do mostly just SUVs. That's my game plan. And I'm probably going to max out at maybe 20, 25 cars and see how I do for the rest of the year. And then if I need to sell them or get rid of some stuff, I can do that, for next year. But I want to put together a solid 3 to 6 month plan and stick with it and not have to escape it or, abort mission. So no matter what happens, I'm going to just, run with it and go from there. So hopefully by this time next month, I should be at about 25 cars.
Nice. Wow, that's huge. I see you talking about families, but I don't see any minivans on here.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I got a cargo van, man. I got a regular Sprinter cargo van. Actually, it's a Ram ProMaster.
ProMaster.
Yeah, I that does pretty good.
That's a work truck.
That's a work truck. Yeah, so I actually was about to get a passenger van, a GM Express one, about a month ago, but that deal fell through. But I'm actually interested in doing a van, man.
Dude,
those are money makers.
Yeah, minivans do really well. In private wintertime, our Chrysler minivans do about 159 to 179 a day.
Wow, that's crazy.
Crazy. Then they're not like fully booked, but like they get booked out for sure.
Which one you got? What minivan you got?
We had 3. We just had one get wrecked in California.
Oh, did it?
Young kid. But we have 2. We had 2 Voyagers. One just got wrecked, and then a Pacifica.
Okay.
And then we have a Dodge Grand Caravan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on board, man. Give me a little time on the minivan or the passenger van. I'm gonna get one though, man.
I would say
see how it does.
You got to go bigger if you're gonna get a minivan. Like I get calls all day long about 8-seaters. I don't know what it is, why they need them, but for private, people call me every single week. They said I need an 8-seater, and I said, well, I have a Chrysler minivan 7. Like, no, I don't want that. I want an 8. Like, wow.
Yeah, man. I was about to pull the trigger on a GM Express or Chevy Express van that was a 12 passenger, but I couldn't pull that deal off. It was like $16,000. It's 2012, 2013, so that would have been perfect for Turo.
16, that's not bad. How many miles?
like 110, 105,000.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that one.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say is your biggest piece of advice for people getting started on Turo?
Oh man. Well, first of all, again, don't get offended for Max's crowd out there, but you guys just gotta do it. A lot of times, I know you got your consultant stuff set up too as far as your county and getting, to be able to meet with you and do consults with you, but you can't be afraid to get mentored. Like if I was starting off in today's Turo environment or rental car environment, I would get a mentor, man. So I'll reach out to somebody like you or myself or somebody in your area that's already doing it and get mentored, and don't be afraid to ask questions and don't be afraid to pay for their time. Like, you meeting with Max for 30 minutes or an hour, man, is invaluable. You watching his videos are invaluable. That's how you learn from people's prior experience. And then on top of that, you got to just jump in and do it. So you got to start off small, get you an economy car. So Max, you're probably the economy king and speak on that part. And just jump in and do it. Try it. Try to get one car and see if you like doing it. Understand the processes that go into it, checking in, checking out, taking pictures, cleaning cars. If you don't like it, man, abort mission, because this is not for everybody, man. Like, you gotta be cut from a certain cloth and want to deal with cars, man. Like I said, I have rental properties that I Airbnb, and it's night and day when you got a rental property compared to a car. I mean, you probably hear horror stories about homes and break-ins and people that tear up homes, but a lot of that stuff is onesie twosies. With cars, man, something new story every day. Every week you get a new story. They get messed up. It's just you can't be afraid to just jump in and get your feet wet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a crazy game. Kind of exciting, but also you definitely have to do your research.
Yeah. You do, man. You do. But you got to also, know what price point you want to stick to. You got to know what kind of cars you want to deal with, your clientele, who your audience is. Like, it's just, I mean, YouTube's so invaluable. It's so valuable when it comes to gathering information, man, and just getting mentored and not being afraid to. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make dumb decisions, but it's part of the Turo game. It's part of the rental car game. We're here to help you guys out so you don't make the same mistakes that we made. So that's why we're here to educate. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. What do you want? What do you want connected? I know you sent me some links, but what do you want to tell the people?
Yeah, man. So for me, I got a course out also called How to Earn on Turo. So during the pandemic, when I was bored and not much going on with the world being shut down, of course, I said, man, what are some other ways, not just even from a revenue standpoint, but education standpoint, can I help people when it comes to getting started in Turo? And what would I do different about starting off? This is created back in 2021. It's when I did the course, and I shared my story time stuff, the car accidents, how to handle car accidents, where to park your cars, what kind of cars to buy, how to do touchless or how to do Turo Go when it comes to taking pictures of your cars and getting IDs and all that good stuff. So all that stuff's outlined in the How to Earn a Turo course. It's $99. Also, if you're ever in the Atlanta area, you want to use one of my cars, or just reach out to me, you go to my website. So that's the link I gave you, Max, is the Innovation Property Rentals website. So check me out as far as my inventory. And if you ever want to just test drive something for a couple hours or a day, man, before you actually buy that car, it's also good to rent a car for Turo before you actually buy a car that you want to buy personally.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll put that stuff below. I appreciate you jumping on in. Definitely a good chat.
Oh, absolutely, man. And I'll hit you up. I'll ping you about the private stuff when I have questions. If you don't mind answering my questions, and I can get on your calendar, we can kind of go back and forth on that, man. But I appreciate your opportunity and the time to speak with your audience, man.
Yeah, of course. We'll set something up soon.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, see ya.
All right, thanks, Max.